Welcome to the MorrowMarriage podcast, and today this should be a short episode. However, I say that a lot, and they're all pretty short anyways. We do that. We want them to be short bursts so that you will listen. You'll get enough value to listen to it more than once if you need to retain it. And please share with the world, because if even one person is inspired, has faith, not hope, but faith, then we came back from the depths of hell. There's no reason why you can't. Guys, today, let's talk about the aftermath. We're going to talk about why peace is so important in the home.
Stop trying to lead and make decisions all the time.
You should not be proud if you raised your voice and screamed at them.
No matter what.
No matter what. I'm Cass.
And I'm Kathryn. Why am I allowing him to do this in front of our children? Why am I allowing this to happen at all? You don't get to say whatever you want to a man and push him to the point where he snaps.
I might have been a really bad man the other day, but today I went out of my way to be a good man, and she thanked me for it.
That you always want to act in the direction you want to go. So
He is just a paycheck. What about his needs?
we're MorrowMarriage.
Let's flip divorce statistics with the new marriage of the affair. Okay, I think it's really, really important because we spend a lot of time talking about problem 2 being the affair. Go backwards in time in the podcast if you haven't heard that. Problem number 1, all the problems that created the space for where an affair, or let's call it disrespect, any disrespect that you don't like. All of that is problem number 2, okay? So real quick, if you haven't seen how we view this, is that we don't condone cheating. We don't condone you kicking them in the balls. We don't condone, hell, the divorce papers, okay? We don't condone any of it. But all of these things happen after all the bullshit, problem number 1s. And so whenever somebody gets cheated on, or she served me papers, or she made me go to the couch, or he left, all of that, you feel so disrespected. You feel so hurt. You feel like you should know the rules of marriage. None of this is like, all of that falls under the rules of marriage, guys. We're talking about physical harm. We're talking about abandonment. We're talking about not following through on commitment. We're talking about morals with cheating. All of it's immoral. Why do people get hung up on fucking affairs? It's all problem number 2. We on the same page?
We are.
Okay. Now, again, we don't condone problem number 2. So I wanted to take.
No, we think it sucks.
We think it's
So
gross.
ladies,
It's terrible. It's the worst.
If your husband cheated on you, I'm so sorry that happened. Same husbands, if your wife cheated on you, we are so sorry that happened. But again, our opinion is that there was something that could have been done proactively to help that from happening, unless you're working with a chronic cheater, and that's not what we're referring to.
Yeah, we're not, guys. That's a great point, honey. Like, first of all, we should talk about that really, really quickly. This is why it's never just 4 minutes, because you just get me thinking. You're just good at getting me going.
Oh,
all right, you got that right. You got that right. All right. Okay, so if we think about that, the chronic cheater. Okay, typically, a lot of people will comment, especially women, will comment on my social media, and even men. Oh, look, this guy's pandering to women because he's saying problem number 2 is cheating, or however he words his crap, right? Well, listen, I'm not pandering to women. If 250,000 women at the time of recording this freaking say 100% spot on for all my content, you better fucking listen. Maybe I translate something you don't understand. The language of woman, okay? Second of all, listen, half the time, this is how you know how wrong and bullshit the guy is. Half the time on those reels, when we say something like cheating, when I say something like cheating, is like, the newest one that's going super viral right now is like, you're not angry at her for cheating. You're angry at yourself for all the times that you asked if she was cheating, who she's talking to, what she's doing, why you don't want to have sex, what your insecurity did to her. You're mad at yourself. Oh my gosh. Every fucking man going on there. He's like, what? That's bullshit. Another man justifying that it's his fault that he got cheated on. What a loser. What a simp. What a pussy. Stop pandering to women. Are you so stupid that you couldn't read the description or hear the words? The words said, you're not mad at your wife for cheating. You're mad at yourself for. Where does that excuse cheating?
We never excuse cheating.
Jeez,
we never,
Louise.
Ever excuse it. And we both have the same opinion. So, he gets a hard time on social media. I also get a hard time on social media as of late. But he gets a hard time on social media because, just like what he described. So if a woman cheated, of course it sucks for the man. But he's saying, well, what happened before that? And I'm saying the exact same thing. if a man cheated on a woman, I don't talk about it as much on social media, but I talk about it in the coaching program. We talk about it on these podcasts. If a man cheated on a woman, again, it sucks. But there is something called the cascade to betrayal, and it's for both sides. It's 24 items that have been proven to happen before physical betrayal. And if you picture it like a ladder, number 24 is up here. If you go tick, 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 all the way down to the bottom, the bottom one is pretty benign. It's called turning away instead of turning towards. So you're not accepting each other's bids for connection. That is very simple. 23 more things have to happen, including deceit, emotional, like other innocent relationships, replacing your spouse with maybe not someone, but other activities. There's all kinds of things that happen. So when your husband cheated and you feel terrible, of course, but if you go down the line, what happened in the first rung, the second rung, the third rung? Were you dismissive to your husband? It doesn't mean that he needs to go sleep with somebody else, but did you stop confiding in him? Did you start, what happened? Where can you take responsibility for yourself?
I would like to do that's why I tried to interrupt you. Sorry, honey. I'd like to do a whole episode on that because today I want to talk about after. Okay.
Right.
So if you guys can just really just pay attention, share the podcast so everybody gets to hear this and get ready. We'll do an episode on that soon. But I want to talk about the aftermath. Okay. If you are listening to this and your partner cheated and you want more, who fucking cares what everybody says and what everybody thinks and what everybody tells you about leaving your partner, because you want to save it anyway. Am I wrong? You don't want to tear your family apart. You want to stop hurting. Nobody wants to imagine another P and V together that aren't yours, your bits, right? I don't. I only want to imagine mine with her. You know what I mean? So why, if you want more, are you doing everything to think about whose fault it is and this and that? Just start doing what you need to do to get past it. Because listen, when you're past it, when you are, we just had that guy, his wife, he's 4 weeks in the program, and his wife is running across the room when he comes home. So excited to see him. She's taking his work boots off. Okay, think about how much she must love her husband to take his work boots off. I'm not going to assume they're smelly, but I think we can.
I'm going to assume they're smelly. Anybody's work boots, but I also think it's very sweet that she's going over there and she's just showing that display of love. That
kind of love, they're not going to cheat on each other. Like, come on, that is something. Okay. Just a little plug for my program. He's in the program for 4 weeks. You're welcome. You know who you are. Okay. So here, when you feel those things, even if there's been betrayal, that kind of love, you're not going to feel that anymore. Kathryn doesn't take my boots off. That, we just talked in the last episode about, dying. I don't want Kathryn to die, so she doesn't go near my feet. Okay, but
doesn't mean I love him any less than
that
other woman loves her husband.
That's right. And actually, we don't do the whole run to the door to each other, but we are all over lifting each other up, squeezing each other's hands as we walk by. Kathryn will sit on my lap to say she's proud of me or that she missed me, or just hi. We're taking care of each other with these bids that she was just talking about all the time. That's not intentional. It's natural. Was it intentional in the beginning? Yes. Does it have to be intentional sometimes? Yep. We have to work at it sometimes, depending what's going on. Okay. When you're feeling all of this kind of love, don't even get me started when you guys are full on sneaking into bathrooms and connecting all the time. And a couple episodes back, we talked about fuck your family. When you two come first before everybody else, okay? Including your children. You're not thinking about problem number 2 anymore. Guys, you're not. The only reason, you guys actually might have seen this. You ever notice that sometimes we're doing a podcast and all of a sudden we'll be like, I don't think we've ever talked about that before.
We do that quite often.
Yeah. You know how you think you need to bring up the past or get through the issues or go through the traumas or the wounds? Some you will. But it happens to us all the time. We're like, oh, we never addressed that. And then sometimes we're like, should we? And sometimes we do. And most often we don't. Unless we're reliving it because we're telling you, in which case you get to process it with us. Welcome. Affairs, the divorce papers, buying another property, living in another room, all the hurtful things that were said. the pushing and shoving, the like throw. I think I did that too. Throw you out the house, lock the door.
I don't remember.
I think I did that. Like all these hurtful things that you do or have been done to you, you guys won't think about it anymore. You won't. So if you are with your partner and they've had an affair, or if you are trying to be with your partner and you've had an affair, understand you must move towards the future, not the past, or we'd still be fighting about all the fights. Let's be fucking honest. We could talk about it forever. It was bad. Honestly, you don't want to think about that. So move it forward. If you are the partner who is trying to deal with the fact that your partner had the affair, fucking leave if you're not going to just deal with it. Just leave. But know deep down in your heart that you want more. Now, if they're chronologically cheating, like a lot of these guys are assuming.
Chronically.
What did I say?
Chronologically.
Oh, thank you. If they're chronically cheating.
Or chronologically, really, for that matter.
Yeah, and they are doing it, and you know all their names in order of when it happens. Chronologically. Then, good cover, babe. Then, you see, you got my back.
Yeah, I do.
Essentially, you're going to have to really, no, I lost my thought. Oh, yeah, if you're the one dealing with the person who had the affair, unless they're the ones that are doing it chronically, then you're going to have to just let it go. If they are doing it chronically, if they got a problem, well, that's going to go to that characterological. Or situ. I'm having trouble speaking today.
Yeah, it's okay. Happens to you hardly ever.
So
he's a good talker, this guy.
Thank you. So you have to understand that that's a different kind of issue. And most of the time, when you think all women or your spouse does that, it's because you're just tying that into all the people that hurt you before. Okay? It's not really the case. All right?
I'll say one thing.
Yeah.
So he's saying move on. But I want to also just mention that doesn't mean sweep it under the rug. And sometimes there is some atonement that needs to happen. And so there's a model called attune, atone, attach, where attune, that means that you are
She plays your
connecting
like a horn. And then atone. Go ahead.
Attuning is connecting connecting
and then attach. She's already attached.
Attuning.
It's different.
Attuning is empathizing and validating and making sure that you're connecting with your partner. Atoning is making it better. Maybe there's an apology in there and a repair in there, and there has to be some conversations usually to be able to move forward. You don't just ignore it and sweep it under the rug. Attach is when you get to reattach. You get to connect again on a deep level. And so what is it? He has a look on his face right now.
I just really want her to make a reel on this, and I just want to flip it. I think it should be, the model should be attach, atone, attune. Attach, make the tone, and it'll come out like a tune.
Oh my goodness, that's all we have for today, guys. See you guys next time.
Sorry, guys.